Okay, so again, this is a tool inside of StormCAD. Um, it is the same tool for StormCAD, SewerCAD, CivilStorm, and SewerGEMS. So let's learn a little bit about what it does. Well, the first thing that we need to remember is that in a storm sewer system, we have the surface system, right, which is the gutters, the inlets, basically anything we see from the road, right, the open channel flow paths. And then there's a subsurface system, which is everything that you don't really see. So the pipes, the outlets, the inlet structures, the junctions and access holes. And when we get tasked to do a new design, uh, our regulatory agencies provide some type of constraints, and they depend, they're never the same between one town and another one in some parts of the world. Typically, though, for the subsurface system, you get minimum slope, maximum slope. And in addition to that, so that's, you know, kind of one of the big ones because as we talked about yesterday, in gravity systems, we want gravity to do the work, right? So we don't want to have to pump anything. So we rely on slope to move the flows along. But, you don't want it to be too flat because then things just settle there. They sediment, they don't move. But you don't want it to be too steep also because it could be, generating erosion. And, sometimes you get, if it's not the slope that they're limiting, they will give you things like uh, tractive stress, tractive force, or maximum velocity. So they're all kind of related, right, to the slope of your system. And then we also want to make sure that if it rains, you know, you're going to be able to evacuate that water through your inlets, and the water is not just going to pool there and spread on the road, causing problems for cars. So we look at gutter spread, as a main check when we're designing our inlets. And in fact, when you're doing your analysis, you can always look at the spread as one of your primary constraints. And also we take a look at the hydraulic grade line in the pipe system itself. So we want to know how high the water is getting, right? So we want to make sure that we're not getting surcharged pipes or even worse, water coming out of inlets in the system. Okay, so we know that the solver that we've been talking about, the gradually varied flow, can help us do this design. And the nice thing about it is that it can help you design only the parts that you want. It's not like you say, okay, design my entire system. You can say, design of the 100 pipes that I have, only design um, 5 or 10 or all of them. You can select. And also the structures. So what is it actually doing? It is taken the catalog for pipes that you've input. So you say, for example, my pipes I know for sure are going to be PVC. So here is the catalog of PVC pipes you can try. So you can say which is the minimum diameter and the maximum. You can set all the ranges, and then StormCAD will pick one of the pipes in that catalog. And in addition to that, you tell it, and you do the same for the inlets, right? You say, these are the kind of inlets that I want you to consider for this design. So what is it trying to do? The bottom line, it has a lot of priorities to come up with the best design, but the most important one is trying to minimize excavation costs, right? So one of the things that you enter is minimum cover, and it will always try to stick to that. So what kind of constraints do you put in there? For pipes, minimum and maximum slope, minimum and maximum velocity, minimum and maximum cover. And then You can say whether you want to modify the pipe sizes only, or you can also modify the invert of the pipe. Because if you allow the modification of the inverts of your pipes, you're letting it adjust the slopes, right? So if you want to modify the slopes, you need to let it move the ends up or down. And you can say, okay, maybe uh, I cannot move the downstream end of this pipe because I know it connects with an existing system that I cannot modify. So maybe do not change that invert, but change the upstream invert of that particular pipe. So you can be very flexible with what you're asking the software to actually design. Okay, so that's what you input for the pipes. What about the nodes, the structures? You can tell it how you want to match the pipes as they come to a catch basin or a manhole. Do you want the pipe inverts to match, or do you want the pipe crowns to match? Do you want to force an offset? So you always want to make sure that there's an inch drop, for example, or not. You can add that. You can tell the software whether you want to allow drop structures. So typically when you have like very hilly terrains, it makes sense to use a drop structure at the manhole or inlet. So you can say that. And also if you want to specify a sump depth, you can do that. So that basically it's like if you looked inside of the manhole, you would look at the pipe, at the incoming and outgoing pipes, and then the bottom of the manhole itself would be lower. So it's just kind of a little bit of water pooling at the bottom of it. All right, so we talked about what you input for pipes and structures. Now let's talk about the inlets. The automatic design can adjust the length of the inlet so that it can meet your constraints. So you basically say, I want a grate inlet, for example. So it will figure out what the length of that grate inlet needs to be in order to collect all the water and minimize the spread for the in-sag inlets and depth because it knows the geometry of that, so it can figure that out. And for the on-grade, so let me explain the difference between in-sag and on-grade. An on-grade inlet is one that basically it's on the same grade as the road, so that water can come in to that inlet, but if it doesn't all get absorbed into that inlet, it can continue to move downstream to the next inlet, right? So the on-grade doesn't collect 100% of the flow that comes to it, whereas an in-sag does. So in an in-sag inlet, we assume that all the water that gets to it sooner or later needs to go inside that inlet, okay? So you get to specify whether your inlets are in-sag or on-grade. And the design constraints for an on-grade is the efficiency. What is the minimum efficiency that you want to have for that particular inlet? So like I mentioned, the software will take care of deciding the length for your inlets. And this also looks at your inlet catalog. So, I will show you when we get to the workshop what the inlet catalog can look like. We don't have all the inlets in the world already added to our catalog, but we have a few. And if, they're mostly like DOT standard type of inlets. But if you happen to use a different kind, then you can simply enter it and make your own catalogs. So basically, it determines the minimum available inlet length to meet the constraints, right? So if it doesn't need to make the inlet huge, it'll just make it as small as it can be to meet your criteria. And if for any reasons the constraints can't be met, then it's going to choose the largest inlet that it can, and it will just give you a warning saying, I use the biggest that I have, but still can't meet your spread or depth constraints. Okay, so this is what the tool looks like. I think this has an automated thing. Let's see if we can pause it. So for your constraints, you have the gravity pipe tab, the node tab, and the inlet. And if you want to set the default, if you can see here, is minimum and maximum slope, for example. But you can also be even more specific and say, no, minimum and maximum no, because it depends on the diameter of my pipe. So you can make it size specific. And this applies to velocity, cover, and slope. Okay, so those were kind of like the basics, but particular needs always happen to come up, and we decided to add on the right side of the screen here what we call the extended design. And so those three tabs that you see there. And the first one is the part fold design. So if you don't check any of those, the default it's going to design for 100% of the capacity of that pipe. But if you wanted to say no, only design it to be 50% full, because in the future there will be more users upstream, etc., then it can do it that way. The other tab was allow multiple sections. So you can have parallel pipes, so multiple barrels. And you can also say limit the section size. So never select anything bigger than X inches. So maybe you have a catalog that has a really large range of sizes, but here you can say, okay, even though in my catalog I have up to like 100 inches or so, I don't want you to look at anything bigger than 48 inches. Okay, so here's where we see that. If you want to consider something less than 100%, you check this box and you specify that there. Okay, so that's kind of like the general design constraints. But as I mentioned, the software gives you the flexibility of specifying which elements you want to design. And you can do that in the lower part. So notice, for example, here, P2R, that's one of our pipes. You can say, I want you to design this pipe, and I want you to design the start invert and the stop invert. But look at the one below it. It's also going to design it, but it shouldn't touch the stop invert, if you can modify that. So you specify only the start. And in fact, you could also specify local pipe constraint. So for this one, you can say, okay, I know that I said minimum and maximum velocity between 1 and 15, but this is an exceptional pipe and it's such little flows that, I'm going to say the velocity could be 0.5 feet per second or something like that.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.